This is my 22 kW Generac generator. I wanted to make this video to show the 22 air-cooled a little more in depth. I haven't seen anything yet on YouTube that speaks a lot about experiences with the 22. It's the largest air-cooled unit that Generac has came out with. Prior to this 22, I had a 14 kW, which was a managed unit. I couldn't put the whole house on it, but with this one I can. So I'll let it run its exercise and get some close-ups of it running, and then talk about my experience after it shuts down. Should start here. Okay, that's a 5-minute runtime with the Evolution controller. It's not an option to change that 5-minute runtime. You can change it from weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly exercise, but a lot of the feedback, things I've read, other YouTube videos, 5 minutes is not long enough. Should be a firmware or software update that allows you to change that, because only running 5 minutes, it doesn't allow it to get hot enough to burn off any of the water condensation. And there's people saying that they pull out their oil sticks and they've got some milky stuff on their oil from not running long enough to burn off that condensation. I have not experienced that problem yet. From a lot of the research I read, it's more of an issue in the winter time than it is the summer. That's where you would plug it in and make any changes. You can put a flash stick in there for firmware updates and whatnot. The 14 that I had installed was not done by an electrician that was very familiar with generators. Must have been one of the first 2 or 3 they hooked up. Is absolutely hideous. This one was installed by a group of guys that know their business. They put in many of them, and this one's got the aluminum housing and it's slightly different color. It's a different tone than the previous models, and I think it looks a lot better. Pull permits, you know, if you want to have a backup or standby generator installed, make sure that you pull permits, that your contractor pulls permits. Make sure you get it inspected. Some of the work that was done here by the electrician, I mean, they were the professionals, so I just took their word for it. But after watching a lot of YouTube videos and doing a lot of research, I discovered how hideous of a job it was. It was done right, it did pass inspection, but it could have been better. I think the whole look, we usually do a little bit of entertaining back here, and this looks a lot better than the previous generator that I had installed. Couldn't put the whole house on it. It had a 14 circuit transfer switch for 14 circuits of your choosing. 200 amp service is what I have in this house. It's all electric, so it's a lot of electric that's used. They have PMMs that you can have installed with this system, so the 22 runs the whole house just fine. The only problem that I had was when the central air started. My heat pump is a 3-ton heat pump. 22 should start it with no problem. This particular heat pump had a 100 amp draw when it turned on, and that just about shut the generator off. Just the surge was just a lot for it to handle. So I put a hard start kit in the central air unit. The generator doesn't miss a beat now. I'd recommend a hard start kit with any generator, actually, if you have an air unit running, especially if you have multiple air units. Did the gas work myself. You know, watched a lot of YouTube videos and whatnot to find out how to do it. The size of the piping, the book tells you. This is propane, 22,000 watts. You get the full 22,000 watts if you're running your unit off of propane. Natural gas, I think you'll lose 1,500 to 2,000 watts. So if you bought a 22, you would only get about 20 out of it. You can check the specs to be specific on that, but with propane you will get the full bang for your buck out of it. I want to appreciate everybody for posting their experiences with their generators, because it helped me do the gas piping myself, saved probably $500. And then I got a couple videos also that shows a little more in-depth transfer switch, the PMM modules, and then a way that you can purchase a device to kind of monitor your usage, because there's nothing offered by Generac that shows your current wattage that you're using, your current amps that you're using, but the lockout modules would prevent an overload. There are a couple items that they make on the side of this. There is a green light based off the way this is installed. I come home from work, I can look right through that window and see the green light to know that it's good, ready to go. It has a yellow light. That means it needs attention, oil change, check your spark plug, check your battery, just maintenance reminders. And then a red light, which we can turn red if we push stop or off. It'll turn that light red. So if you come home and you see a red light, it's not going to start if the power does go off. It tells you something's wrong. You need to find out what it is. They do have a remote device that has the same lights. It's magnetic. You put it on the refrigerator, put it on the wall. It's $200. It's a little pricey. The 14 that I had installed was installed this way. When you were standing this way, you were looking at the front of the generator. So the exhaust was to the left, the intake was on the right side. And it exhausted that between the pool and the house. That window is my bedroom, so I could hear it more so than I would need to. When I had them install this one, I asked them to turn it so that the exhaust would go out, and it is a lot more quieter on that back end of the house there. I did the timbers around it in the stone just to try to match some of the landscaping around the pool, and the propane tank that feeds it, 500-gallon propane tank. Based off the specs, I believe, I don't have them right in front of me, it's somewhere around 3.5 gallon an hour propane is what this will burn. That's if you're running the full 22,000 kW, which, based off the monitoring system that I have hooked up, the highest I've seen used either from regular power or generator power is 14,000. The box has not gotten any higher. It can go up to 99,000 watts, but surely I wouldn't pull that kind of watts in a regular single family residence. Thanks for watching.